Mr. Vijay Kumar. He was the former state project director, we say SPD, of the same program, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. And he has been instrumental in bringing about kind of a transformation in the school system in Tamil Nadu. And also there's an influence in many other states and also other countries. He will talk about it. There's a film, but the sound is not working. But we'll start with a PowerPoint. And after that, maybe you'll see the film if all things go well. And after that, we're open for discussion. You are also with us. Also from the Education Department, we have Dr. Ellen Bowen and Mrs. Lata, Joint Director. They are here to help. And we have also a senior principal from a school. Some of you may have visited that school, Rani Mayamai, and her teachers. There's one more person who's sitting here, is Sadhana. He's also been part of the team.
You saw some in the school? Yes. You have seen? What you have seen? Yes. I'll just briefly explain to you what made us to bring about the change in the school, number one, and how this was brought about. Basically, around 10-15 minutes time, I'll just share with you our ideas on what made us to bring these changes in the schools. Number one. Number two, it is a scaled up. Whatever you have seen day for yesterday, they were not just confined to few schools in Chennai. We have nearly 37,486 schools in the entire state. So almost all the classrooms, nearly about 1,20,000 classrooms, are like what you have seen yesterday. Now, how was this scaled up? So basically, I will be talking on these two issues. And I have a small DVD that will run for about 15-20 minutes. Now, after my discussion, we will also screen the DVD, followed by whatever doubts you have. And I have with me Mr. Venkateshan, he is my colleague who has succeeded me, and Dr. Yangovan and Lata. They were joint directors. They formed the team. Plus, we also have some chief educators and principals of the school who have implemented the scheme. Now, I'll talk about Tamil Nadu. The transformation of public school system in Tamil Nadu. One individual talking on behalf of thousands and thousands of teachers, children, and supervisory staff. So whatever achievement that has happened in Tamil Nadu is not just because of one individual, it's a team. A team consisting of the directorate, the field staff, and nearly 120,000 teachers and about 6 million children. Just to give you a brief profile of our state. That's it. Brief profile. We have 37,486 schools, 6 million children. Nearly 85% of our school age population are with us in government school system, public school system. So whatever change we want to bring in, this is critical. Only about 10 to 15% children are out of our system. And the type of children who come to us are from the poorest of the poor. Those who can afford to pay for private schooling, they go to private schools. Only those who cannot even afford to borrow, they come to us. And about 120,000 teachers in this 37,000 schools. We have about 120,000 classrooms. These 800 assistant education officers, they are the supervisory level officers at the cutting edge level. And the 6,000 are teacher educators who are basically meant to assist these schools in pedagogical change. And the other 500 right from the director downwards. This just to tell you how big is the system. Now when we say we have changed, the schools have been transformed, it is not just one school or 5 schools or 10 schools. It is 37,000 schools covering about 6 million children. Not just 100 children, 20 children, it is 60 lakh children. And when we say that the schools have changed, it is not just schools and teachers, the entire supervisory staff, their mindset, their behavior, their attitude. You can just imagine the type of work that would have gone into in bringing about this change ranging to entire scenario. Next slide. Now why? Why should we change? Where was the need for a change? So what happened in the conventional system where we make children sit in rows and columns? The teacher just teaches with the help of a textbook. That is what has been happening all along. What happened? Our achievement levels. So we have been focusing only on academic achievement in our schools. There has been national surveys by government agency, by independent agencies. All of them confirm that even after 5 years of schooling, nearly 35 to 40% children can't read and write in their mother tongue. About 65% children can't perform even basic operations in mathematics. I'll just explain. What is the need for a change? Now, after 5 years of schooling, our children have not been learning in classroom. They could not perform even basic operations in mathematics. This is not confined to one state in Tamil Nadu. All over the country, whether it is north, south, west, anywhere in the country, the national statistics reveal that all of us have been sailing the same boat. With just 10%, 15% variation, the whole country has been failing. Now that is one very important reason why we need a change. Last. Yes. So the need for a change, one was poor achievement levels, not as if schools have not been run. All 37,000 schools have been run. 200,000 teachers have been teaching in the classroom. These 6 million children regularly attend classes. And we have a host of incentives, plethora of incentives. We give them noon meal free of cost for all children. We give them textbook free of cost to all children. Uniform free of cost. So in spite of so many incentives, children have not been learning. So whatever has to happen outside classroom has been happening meticulously, but whatever has to happen inside classroom does not take place at all. Therefore, there is an imminent need for a change. Secondly, we have been focusing only on academic achievement. In all our schools, there is no room or scope for the children to know how to manage their feelings and emotions. Emotional development has never been our concern. In fact, what we do, we know that most of our children fail. Even then we conduct exams. fail them and kill their self-confidence and pride. That has been the bane of our system. Emotional development has not been attended to. Social development, lesser said the better. Therefore, in our conventional classrooms, no attention was paid whatsoever to the other developmental areas. We are focusing only on academic achievement, even there we have been failing. Therefore, there is a need for a change. And remedial. We know children have not learned, but there is no scope or room for remedial in the classroom. There has never been practiced. And absenteeism in a rural setting, children normally absent during harvest season. Being basically agricultural country, during harvest, children won't come for a month. If it is a local festival, they won't come. There is no way children can cover the missed lessons. By the time children come back, the teacher would have covered the syllabus, but children would miss. The system do not provide for this. Multi-grade and multi-level. Out of these 37,000 schools, clearly 18,000 of them are small schools with 50, 60 children and 2 teachers. Which means a teacher has to handle more than 2 standards. You are all familiar with multi-level. Multi-grade is a very common problem, common issue here. One teacher handling 3 standards. When you try to teach the children with the help of a textbook, the teacher who handles 3 standards has to transact 13 textbooks in a year. Is it humanly possible? And children have to simply listen, like what you listen. There is no way children do and learn. There is no scope that children use other senses for learning. The theory says children have to use all senses, but there is only room for just listening. It is completely teacher-oriented. The teacher takes a textbook, reads 2 paragraphs, explains. Reads 2 more paragraphs, explains. At the end of the day, he covers the syllabus. It is a teacher covering syllabus. Children never cover the syllabus. That has been our... Doesn't matter. So it's only teacher covering syllabus and not children. That has been the focus. It is completely teacher-centric and textbook-oriented. Even though we have been training our children, training our teachers on usage of TLM, teaching learning materials, activities, but seldom that is practiced in the school. It has never been practiced. The textbook used to dominate the classroom. Once with the help of a textbook, the teacher is interested in covering the syllabus by him. Teacher never attended to providing stimulation for the children to learn.
Save it on the desktop. Save it.
If I just see the glimpse, I can go through. Just show me the glimpse of... Now, I told you the need for a change. Now, these are all system issues. Second and most important issue, the interest of the children. You are all aware, you are all professionals, you know better how children learn. Children have natural ability to learn. The capacity of the child to learn, I think you can switch it off. I think their attention also gets diverted. I can talk. Children have inherent capacity to learn. They learn so many things outside classroom, but they refuse to learn inside the classroom. When children can learn so many things outside classroom, if they don't learn inside the classroom, who's to be blamed? The children come with so much of anxiety for learning. And if we fail in teaching children in the manner they learn, the problem lies with us. Therefore, apart from the system problem, the second and most important issue is children's interest. We should ensure that children learn. Third and most important issue is the job description. I was the project director of the project called Universal Elementary Education. My duty was to ensure children learn. I was earlier Commissioner of Chennai Municipal Corporation. I had 256 schools with me. So my duty was to ensure all children learn. If children don't learn, If 50% children don't learn, then I don't deserve my salary. Therefore, there is an imminent need for a change. That was, these three issues were the driving force for us to change. Then what we did, we knew, that we meaning a team of our staff knew that children have inherent capacity to learn. They learn many things outside classroom, and if they don't learn inside the classroom, it only means we don't know to teach the children in the manner they learn. Or the classroom atmosphere is not conducive for the children to learn. What do? We just explored. We went all over. We were trying to locate a good methodology which will adhere to principles of teaching. What does the theory say? The theory says children learn by doing. Children learn by doing activities. Children learn in groups. Children learn in peers. Children learn by interaction. But where is the room and scope for these things in the classroom? Therefore, we felt that we need to scout around. And the theory also very clearly said, if you need to learn swimming, you have to swim. If you need to learn singing, you have to sing. When theory says so clearly, why is it that our classrooms have not been practicing this? The classroom structure and form. Structure meaning in the sense making children sitting in rows and columns, the teacher trying to give a lecture, that structure and form need to be broken. So we are looking around for a methodology, good methodology, that will help us in breaking this rigidity of the classroom structure form, making it lively, making it completely child-centric, and disintegrating the domination of the textbook. Learning is always individual, it's always, it's personal. Then how can I expect that 40 children collectively learn when I give a lecture? We were looking out for a good methodology. Ultimately, we stumbled upon Rishi Valley's school, where they were practicing this methodology. We went some teachers, we borrowed the methodology from them, and we also looked at Montessori. So the excellent philosophy, excellent material. So we borrowed extensively from Montessori. Besides, we also went around. We saw an organization called Odisha and Ekalaiva in Madhya Pradesh. Our teachers went around, borrowed various philosophies, and developed this methodology called ABM, activity-based learning. It is just disintegrating the textbooks into smaller skills, and these skills are developed into smaller activities, and they are all seriously arranged. There are a lot of similarities and dissimilarities between Montessori and ABM. That I will discuss with you at last. We borrowed this philosophy, improvised them, developed a methodology. In Chennai Municipal Corporation, we tried this pilot tested in 13 schools. This was pilot tested in Chennai Municipal Corporation in 13 schools. Found extraordinarily good response. In 3 years' time, we scaled it up to 264 schools in Chennai Municipal Corporation. Not only class 1 and 2, we also made 3 and 4. So class 1, 2, 3, 4, we developed materials, practiced this in 13 schools, in 264 schools, and then parallelly, about 4,200 schools, we have got community development blocks all over the state. The state has about 31 districts, and each district is divided into smaller blocks of 10 to 12. In each block, we selected 10 schools. And those schools were again shown how ABL works in Chennai. The teachers were brought here. We showed them how ABL worked. We spoke to them. We told them, if you are convinced that this methodology works, you can go back and practice, we will support you. This is the type of motivation we gave to them. Nearly about 50,000 teachers came to Chennai in different phases, saw the schools, interacted with the children, interacted with the teachers, interacted with the community. This is how we developed 4,200 schools in rural areas. And following the same methodology, within 1 year, we have implemented this in 37,400 schools. This is how the transformation took place. Now, what are all the beliefs and facts? We told them, we believed in the system. We trusted the children. We trusted the teachers. We told the teachers, if things have not been happening all along, that was not your problem. Not as if you did not teach. You tried to teach. But unfortunately, the methodology and the system was actually impeding. Here is an alternative system. If you are willing to adopt this, things will improve. You can see for yourself. And whatever support you want, we will give. This is how we have motivated the teachers and the community, especially when we had this mixed age group, mixing children from class 1 to 4. The community started resisting. Many parents came and asked our teachers, why are you, I'm a parent of fourth son child, why are you making my child to sit with the first son child? But our teachers convinced them. They told them, please get into the classroom, observe. So most of our schools are observed by these parents, and we just see how your children learn. So we could convince them, parents, we could convince the community, we told the teachers that we have faith in you, we trust you. And we also told them that children have inherent capacity to learn. If children have not been learning, that is not children's problem. It's system problem. For changing the system, you are not responsible. We are responsible. If something has gone wrong, we are responsible. This is how we have motivated the teachers. And secondly, we were responsive and we were flexible. As I mentioned at the outset, children's interest was uppermost. It's not policy. It's not principle. Whatever suited children's interest, this will change. And ABL was not a panacea for everything. If some change is necessary, we will change. And we were keeping our eyes and ears open. Our team's telephone number was available in the entire state with 200,000 teachers. They were free to talk to us anytime. Whatever problem they had, it was given. Thirdly, the teacher training. It is not 1 year and 2 years training as you have been doing. It is just 10 days training. 10 days training, solid training, or hands-on. The teachers were given a just brief about the philosophy for about 2 hours and then allowed to practice, sit in the classroom. It's all hands-on training. And basically they are all teachers. They just learn to understand the methodology and the usefulness of methodology, how to use the material. So just 10 days of training and it's all hands-on. On-site support. See, when we want them to bring about this paradigm shift, they can come and see Chennai schools. They can see modern schools. But when they start practicing, there will be a lot of problems. There will be a lot of impediments. They will have a lot of doubts. So what we have told, we have asked Chennai Corporation teachers, how many of you are willing to go to the districts and spend some time with your peers? About 250 teachers, many teachers, they volunteered. They said, sir, in the interest of children, you send us anywhere we'll go. Especially in our country, young lady teachers, young women can't go out and stay for this, like this, especially in the outskirts, in rural areas. But our teachers volunteered. They convinced their parents and in-laws. They volunteered and they went out and stayed for 2 days, 3 days in a rural school. The type of peer support, on-site support given to them was extraordinary. That was a very critical group. Now, we have trained teachers, we have showed them a working model, and nothing was theory. It was not just theory. We never spoke theory. We just demonstrated to them that things can work, things can change. Please see for yourselves. We have shown the change. We have provided all support. The management was so responsive, and we were flexible. We were not dogmatic. We never said that ABL is impeccable. No. It's just an approach. Whatever change you want, we can bring about the change. That is how the change was brought about. And the political support. Political support was one of the very important points. The Honorable Minister, unfortunately, he couldn't come and address you. The Minister, okay? The Minister, unstinted support. Whenever he goes to the field, he visits invariably a school, sit with the teachers in the ground, sit with the children, find out how children learn. That is one of the strongest elements in the whole transformation process. The political support is very, very important. This is how the change was brought about. and you just see the DVD. And if you have any query?
We are in a corporation school in Chennai. What is the mystery behind the children's motivation to come so willingly to school? Why is a classroom filled with children so quiet? How did the children learn to read? Who taught them? Walk into any corporation school in Chennai and you'll come upon the same scenario. What a pleasant surprise. Each child is completely involved in working on some learning material. The teacher is not armed with a cane. She sits at the level of the children on a reed mat on the floor, checking the written work of one of the children in the circle around her. Or she may walk over to the child level blackboard on the wall to help a 6-year-old girl who's writing on it. Other children sit in small groups teaching themselves to read, write or count. A great deal of learning is going on, but the teacher does not dominate. There is order without the booming voice of authority. What's the story behind the silent revolution? Activity-based learning is the method of education followed in the corporation schools of Chennai since 2003, when MP Vijayakumar became Commissioner of the Chennai Corporation. Let's hear his perspective on the introduction of the ABL, as we call it.
In our primary schools, even after 5 years of schooling, nearly 30% children are not able to read and write fluently well in Tamil. Similarly, in mathematics, about 60 to 70% children are not able to perform even basic operations. It is not as if schools are not run, not as if children don't attend classes. About 2 lakh teachers regularly teach in the classroom, about 70 lakh children regularly attend classes. And we have been making huge investments in teacher training and plethora of incentives, free meal, textbook, uniform, and many others. In spite of it, the learning outcomes have been very, very poor. Why? What went wrong? Unless we find a solution to this problem, this will continuously exist and this will be a permanent problem. The Chennai Municipal Corporation teachers have found out a methodology by which the rigidity in the classroom is completely broken. The structure and form is completely changed. The classroom is made completely child-centric, activity-based, where peer learning is possible, group learning is possible, and self-learning is possible. They have demonstrated that in a dominant system, things can work. And this is an initiative of Chennai Municipal Corporation teachers, supported by Chennai District's SSA and partly by UHF.
The joyful learning experiment of the mid-90s had started as an effort to provide special schools for children who'd been freed from being bonded labor. Methods and materials which were devised to help the children catch up on the lost years of childhood seem both appropriate and attractive to all children. In the ABL kit in Tamil Nadu, the subjects covered are 5+1. Tamil language is the first area, where the lessons begin with illustrated cards and short words that are easy to write rather than with the alphabet sequence. The same method is used for teaching English. Mathematics is learned through the attractive Montessori materials designed systematically for the fundamental principles of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Science and social science cards are largely based on the textbook with a variety of activities attached to every chapter. The sixth area is that of puppetry, storytelling, reading of storybooks, paper craft, drawing, collage, and many kinds of group games played outdoors. In the ABL, there are significant departures from and improvements on the Rishi Valley materials. Firstly, English has been added to the curriculum. The children learn both Tamil and English. The second difference in the Tamil Nadu adaptation is the inclusion of both science and social science, while REC had only environmental science. The third innovation is the introduction into the primary curriculum of three-dimensional materials in mathematics. The Montessori system has proved to be a tremendous enrichment to ABL. The materials now available in ABL are colorful, easy to handle, hardy, and meticulously developed, and enable children to understand place value, that is units, tens, hundreds, and the basic mathematical processes. By bringing the blackboard from the teacher's eye level to the child's, and by increasing the blackboard space, two more learning aids have been created. One, a specific space for each child to write, and two, a large space to read each other's exercises. Every child can proudly own a part of that blackboard. The learning materials are not only systematically stacked on the shelves, but they are color-coded for each class level. Also, logos of animal and insect forms are used for different aspects of the curriculum. When the child completes one set, there is a card for self-evaluation. The achievement chart clearly shows the positions of the children in each area. Thus, the teacher is enabled to track every learner's progress. Monitoring of progress by the teacher is subtly combined with the child's freedom to select the pace of learning. This can be administered by oneself or with the assistance of another child. In building in the opportunity of recall of learnt material at each stage, evaluation has become part of the process. For the children, there is no failure, and therefore there is no fear of failure. In the conventional school system, so many children drop out of school because they fail. The need for an examination at the end of the school year is made redundant in this system. So easily has the asura called annual exam been vanquished. If we pause for a second to think of how children are generally given ranks for their performance in school subjects, and how ranking becomes a subtle way of indicating the value of a child, we have a sense of liberation from ranking here. No child is better than or worse than another. The teacher keeps an eye on the levels attained by every child and sometimes helps by pairing an advanced learner with a slower one for specific exercises. This kind of peer teaching works well. It must be noted that the entire system allows for diversity and differential rates of progress. The ruthlessness of ranking and peer competition is further reduced by mixing the age groups and classes. In a room of 40 children, there could be 10 each from classes 1, 2, 3 and 4. This vertical grouping has several advantages. It recreates a family model where the older child automatically becomes a guide and helper for the younger one. It encourages cooperation between children rather than competition among them. We are told that a multi-grade classroom is a problem which many rural schools confront. ABL is a simple solution to that complicated issue. The system absorbs different age groups and different ability levels within the same age group. Taking the daily attendance is a ritual in most schools, with the teacher calling out the names and the pupils responding. In the ABL method, this process is made child-friendly. There is an attendance card for each child to be filled up every day. When they assemble in the morning, one student from each class level in the room distributes the attendance cards and collects the filled up ones. The entire process is orderly. It puts the responsibility for marking attendance on the child and not on the teacher. Children love the sense of trust that this procedure implies. We've all heard about the teachers losing their voices because of shouting and screaming to keep the children quiet. In the schools with ABL, there are no apparent discipline problems. The structured learning materials have their own logic, which supports the children's involvement in reading, writing, and calculating. Children find that they can learn at any speed without being taunted by classmates or scolded by the teacher. Also, there's no scrambling for adult attention. Discipline is intrinsic to the material and internalized by the children. The textbook is not the only source of knowledge, just as the teacher is not the sole authority. The textbook is integrated into the materials. For instance, one of the steps of the ladder contains an instruction to read a specified page of the textbook. Clearly, when a child goes step by step on the ladder, his steady progress gives him the skills to read the connected page in the textbook. Of course, if he needs help, he could ask the teacher when he's in the teacher-assisted group, or just go across to where she's sitting. Students appear to have no fear of being reprimanded by the teacher. The conventional distance has been bridged here. Generally, one of the constant problems of schooling is absenteeism. For example, if a child is sick for a week, he cannot follow the lesson when he gets back. He has a feeling of running a race he can never win. However, ABL has a simple strategy to take care of missed classes. The mastering of a skill is not a collective exercise. The child's work is individual. Therefore, he goes to the points on the ladders where he left off and starts learning from there. Repetition of a lesson acts as reinforcement. That is accepted pedagogy. But instead of sing, song, chanting of tables or whatever, the child in ABL writes on the blackboard first, his notebook next, and finally in the workbook. Since he writes the same material 3 times, the pattern gets well established. Whatever the lesson, names of animals, masculine and feminine nouns, or singular and plural words, the strengthening of the connections by repetition is certainly achieved. With so many materials directly accessed by pupils, one would worry about the displacement of the learning cards. Each time the materials are returned to the shelf, they are checked out by the child who used it, sometimes helped by another child. It's like the practice of putting their school bags and their footwear neatly on the veranda, which has become second nature to the children. Gender equality seems to have been achieved rather effortlessly. Girls and boys sit at the low desks or on reed mats together and share their work without any awkwardness. This is particularly important in a culture where the girl child needs to struggle for equal rights in home and school. Inclusion is a word that defines an equitable education system where all children are together in the same school. Children with disability are admitted into the school and can be seen wearing calipers and participating in all the activities. They are fully part of the class and their peers accept them as friends. Once the ABL system has been mastered by the teacher and the pupils, the burden on the teacher is reduced. She is justifiably proud of her mastering the administration of the new system and of the children's achievements. Furthermore, up to class 4, there is no homework. This reduces the teacher's work considerably and frees the young children to continue learning a variety of things from the family and community and from nature. Knowledge can be garnered from many sources. In this system, the timetable is in units of half days. If mathematics is on the curriculum, the children will be involved with the materials from the beginning of the school day until lunchtime. This is done so that the children can concentrate on one subject without the intrusive bell breaking up their lesson. In the conventional school, this would have been tedious. But in the ABL, there is a lot of movement and activity, exchange of ideas and group work. There is simply no question of boredom. In the beginning, many parents were skeptical about classes where children of all ages were mixed. It didn't look like a school to them. Could the pupils learn well and they seemed to be enjoying it so much? The parents were invited to come and sit in the classroom. Gradually, as they watched their child's reading skills and general knowledge develop,
என் குழந்தை 3வது படிக்கிறா, டிவியில் எது வந்தாலும் நல்லா படிக்கிறா, கல்யாண நோட்டீஸ் லெட்ரு வந்தாலும் நல்லா குழந்தை படிக்குது, எந்த பிரச்சனையும் கிடையாது. 1வது தான் படிக்கிறான் என் பையன். அப்புறம் செய்தித்தாள் நல்லா படிக்கிறான், லெட்டர் வந்தால் கூட அதை கூட நல்லா வாசிக்கிறான். ஸ்கூல் கரெக்டாக எந்த டைமுக்கு ஸ்கூலுக்கு வரணுமோ ஒரு அலர்ட் கிடையாது.
Most parents were convinced that the system worked. The tangible achievements impressed the parents. The key element in the story of the silent revolution is the competence of teachers and supervisors in Tamil Nadu who were exposed to the new system. Some of them who were trained at Rishi Valley became the core group. Others were trained by the core group. It was the translation and adaptation of the learning materials that consumed their energy and invigorated them at the same time. For nearly 6 months, 100 teachers worked on developing materials, working after school hours from 4 to 8 p.m. every evening. Their involvement in the process of material development was total. The ABL system has some senior teachers who are experts in handling teacher education and are treated like wise elders. But there are also young trainers selected for their enthusiasm and communication skills. A teacher handling class 1 or 2 could have demonstrated such a tremendous grasp of the principles and procedures and be asked to conduct the entire training for a rural school. One of the byproducts, therefore, is a breaking down of hierarchy and a dynamic interchange of personnel, materials and methods. The ladder is not a mechanical structure with equidistant steps. For each specific academic achievement, different ways of learning are built in. There are several ways of reinforcing learning while making it enjoyable: song, game, reading, writing, and finally evaluating. For the children, the most exciting aspect is that they can learn actively and have a sense of fulfillment. The teacher knows the exact level of the child's achievement and can take remedial measures for a child who is slow down. There are a few blank steps in every ladder. These are intended for any new area the teacher may wish to improve. There is scope thus for teachers to be creative. They keep adding songs that the children sing together and stories for the shadow puppet shows. They use familiar material from their own environment. Children are naturally highly motivated to know and to learn. Most school procedures dampen the enthusiasm of children and suppress their intrinsic motivation. When school methods and materials are devised to be attractive and easy to use, the inherent motivation of the children is sustained. Learning to learn comes from wanting to learn. Professor Krishna Kumar, director of NCERT, visited a corporation school in Chennai recently. He said at the time,
Earlier today, I have visited a school with Mr. Vijay Kumar where the innovative pedagogic experience has been demonstrated in a very concrete way. I have felt personally the ethos of the school, its structure, its working, and I am extremely impressed with the kind of progress that has been made in the program of bringing innovations in the corporation schools of Chennai. Indeed, many aspects of the national curriculum framework can be seen in operation already.
The learning achievements of the children are resoundingly convincing. They provide a strong case for the ABL method to be extended to all state-run schools in Tamil Nadu. In fact, the Tamil Nadu initiative could be a forerunner of a transformation of school education all over India, veritably a silent revolution.
Yes, Isha. It's all. It's all. Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
Sir, I think you are rightly proud of what you have achieved with your team, obviously, and I think when you said we hope that this could be a model for India, I cannot judge this because I'm a humble European. That's probably very correct, but I don't know whether you really know that you could be a model for far more, because what you touched is a global problem. Literature, I don't exclude our fancy countries where I'm coming from, Germany, which is only gradually better in this sense than what you think it was before. But definitely I'm very much engaged in one world educational problems, Africa and around the world. And this is an internal problem. Wherever us European forefathers have been influencing before, these old stupid methods are still going on. And what you're doing is on a perfect way to a much, much better mind concept. And I think you should not be shy to bring forward your local great concept. One more word, it is to my knowledge one of the first scale attempts to bring confidence in the child, bring child-centered methodology, with whatever details are behind it. We are all Montessorians, we think of course it's the best. But I mean, this is such a wonderful way to the perfect solution that we should not hold back. And I will later give you a hint where you could mix into the education ministers of the world soon for the next educational conference for the ministers of the world. We'll talk about that privately.
As a person from Tamil Nadu and who has been looking at all these ABL, I am telling you it works and it rocks. You should see how it has been best. And Tamil Nadu is now looked upon. I don't know worldwide scene. Tamil Nadu is now looked upon by all other states as a model. And everywhere, anywhere you go, it is the best.
I'm a retired principal of one of the primary schools from Maharashtra. We have got the smart PTM program as actually it is training for the entire vigorous training for the primary teachers, and there's a Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, things were really trainings were given to the teachers, but monitoring and those things, as you said, 10 days program it was, and it was held in 3-tier system, district level, state level and the rural level like that. And many in my own school we trained 1,000 teachers. After 10 days training, that some of the senior, most teachers' reactions were, ये सब क्लास में कहाँ वर्कआउट होगा, अपने मेथड करेंगे, like that they told, and they were not ready to, in spite of our repeated warning, some of the, to change the mindset, it requires lot of actually pursual and your own change, that the teachers were not cooperating, and after my retirement, my own school had put those things out, and very small change has brought, otherwise in Maharashtra, and at least Nagpur, our change is in the snail speed of it. I really appreciate Tamil Nadu for such endeavor, and I'll take this thing again, I'll pursue my own Nagpur people for that. Let me try if something can, a small drop of water, at least we can do such something. Really.
Bring them here and there.
Actually, information,
Maharashtra team is right now for Tamil Nadu.
is it? Actually, for working with the smart PT people, I got the best teachers award, but I don't think there is any real change in the school level. That's a pitiable condition.
No, but as sir had pointed out to us when we went, that when some teachers were not ready for the change, they were told that it is compulsory. Government has said
They made it
for all the
compulsory,
teachers.
still with all the
Already
compulsion.
this rule is laid down, then there is no option for the teachers but to follow this.
No, but also, one thinks that people are against. But if you say there are many people who are with,
That's
you are
Ah,
not
correct.
with, but the people who are with, there are many like it.
And once
So we are
once
very
some
happy
of
to
the-
think people are against us.
No, no,
You
no.
know, but
No,
people
I
are
see
the
that.
many
That gives you energy
who
to.
are looking up.
And not only that, once someone starts working on it, the others take a cue. Over a period of time, they also will join them.
But in 5 years we could do.
Well, that's not-
Whereas Canada, they say in 3-4 years they could achieve a lot. That is really commendable, and I really applaud you.
I like you to recall my first slide. Just one individual talking on behalf of millions and millions of people. Number two, we believe in the system. So why should I suspect my teacher? She has been recruited by me and paid by us. Why should we disbelieve at all? After all, if she has not been performing, it's not because of her, it's not her fault. The system that we make children sit in rows and columns and make them to perform activities. And the supervisor is interested in ensuring teacher covering the syllabus. So there is a question of making children learn. We told them, forget about it. We issued an order that you shall not write notes of this. Earlier, the inspector when he comes to school, he does not know what to look for inside a classroom. He used to ask for notes of result and attendance of teachers. If these two things are complied with, the inspector was happy. We told them, please don't do it. Don't ask for notes of lesson, and we don't want notes of lesson simply for the sake of writing notes of lesson. There are bazaar days. We forget about it. And we also give a written order that you shall not conduct exams. There is in Tamil Nadu state, there is no common exam even for a class, leave alone school. It is all child specific. The child's learning levels are known. So when the teacher wants to test the child, in case the parents are interested in, insist on marks, what the teacher does, she will find out where the child's level is. Pick up that activities evaluation card. Convert it into a question paper. Administrate. The child will naturally get 100 marks. The child was given 100 marks and encouraged. So this support from, see, we felt that change is necessary. We felt that children are not learning. Then who has to bring about the change? Is it fair and proper to blame the teacher for this? I am to be blamed because I am paid heavy salary. I am the director. My writ ran. Whatever I said became law. Therefore, we initiated the change. We nurtured it. We nurtured to see how a farmer grows a plant. When there is excess water, we drain. There is so much of care when we nurture the system. We were available, the entire team was available to all the 200,000 teachers. They can call us anytime, even in the middle of the night, at 3 o'clock. So that's the type of responsiveness the system has. And the teachers responded so well. Can you imagine that 200,000 teachers quietly sitting in the floor along with children without a semblance of purpose? Therefore, they're all human beings. They're all good people. The system that was impeding, change the system. And when you talk of training, please don't talk theory. We never spoke theory at all. We just take them, show them the school. We do speak theory, but only at the end. just explaining the process. The theory was just 20%.
Yeah, may I say something? Sir, this is like I have seen a silver lamp being polished. You have done, it's a wonderful thing, the silver lamp is shining bright and beautiful. But I just would like to add a small comment. It may sound a little, after all the wonderful praise that you are giving, one thing that I just want probably the teacher should be made aware of is that the concept of rewards and punishments. So we always said that the child should find a reward in the work itself rather than an external form of reward. So that is something that we can cultivate in our children, never to look at another person to say, wow, you have done a good job, but that wow must come from within. The day he can awaken that awareness and he becomes aware of that point, that I have done a wonderful job. I need not wait for anybody's evaluation, but my personal evaluation shall be the best evaluation. Because we are the best critics of our activity. So that also should be cultivated. As you said, I can understand since you said you have not been doing much of theory, that concept. So
Three responses. There is no competition. We discourage it. And what can be, see, there is other question. How did you motivate teachers? How did teachers change? My immediate response was, what can be the best motivation for a teacher? How much do I pay for a teacher to teach well? 100,000, 200,000? The best way a teacher is motivated by seeing children learn. When the children learn, that is the best way teachers are motivated. Similarly for the children, see what can be the better motivation than achieving skills? That is how the system has been developed. Once they cross a milestone, it automatically reinforces the sense of achievement, their confidence, their pride. You might have seen the schools. You might have interacted with the children. How are they talking to you? Are they confident?
Yes.
How do you talk to you?
In all DC, about 1/3 of the.
I spent half an hour there. They were beautiful. They were absolutely, whatever you have described now, I have seen it in class.
But how did children speak to you? Were they
Very
confident?
well, very confident. They showed
How was their
everything.
pride, confidence?
Very high one.
They smile, which was 2 years ago, if you had gone, or 5 years ago when I went to a cognition school, they weren't smiling at you, they didn't make eye contact. Now they sat with you, they looked at you in the eye and they smiled and they explained to you.
Companies can ask.
It's a very, you should, you do, is that ladder that you follow that very strictly or can children jump first?
No. Children have to go to the learn. Because only then they won't insert skill. If they are allowed to jump, they might miss some fundamental basic skills. And therefore, their children have to go through the ladder process one by one. Only then I can ensure achievement of all skills for all children.
The other one was the syllabus.
Pardon?
The other one was the syllabus. Do you follow syllabus?
Yes. Entire cards material was based on knowledge textbooks. And most of them textbooks. So not as if textbooks are bad. We have most of the activities are the textbooks. But unfortunately, they don't get translated in the classroom. They're all just in the textbook. But when they are broken down to smaller activities, and when we disintegrate the textbook, and when we actually what we have done, we have just empowered the children. So the shift has moved from teacher to children.
So do you have any further plans of implementing the same system for higher classes also?
We have. I have another CD. If you have time, I can show you for 10 minutes. Extraordinarily good. See, at least this is hard labor of nearly 10 years. But whereas the other one, what we call as active learning methodology. The principle is this. As I mentioned to you, children don't learn by listening. But we do the same thing in our classroom. Much worse in upper classes. We just take the textbook, read 2 paragraphs, explain. Again, read further 2 paragraphs, explain. At the end of the lesson, there are questions, important questions given. Just mark the answer, ask the children to get by heart, and reproduce. That is how we have been teaching all along. But what the theory says, he says children learn by doing. Children learn by expressing, articulating, sharing, reflecting. Where is the room and scope for these things in the classroom? The other mythology which is developed, in fact, that is again Rishi Valley, sister concern of Rishi Valley. We have an institution called the School, Krishna Foundation of India. They have developed mythology and they have practiced it for nearly 10 years, which we have borrowed, scaled it up. Now nearly 12,500 schools of upper primary sections have been following. You would like to see it?
Yes, clear. Mind map.
Can you please?
You have to.
Last 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Sure. 9 minutes.
Active Learning Methodology, ALM, is the new arrival on the educational scene in Tamil Nadu. It has been warmly welcomed by thousands of students and teachers in the state. The key point of the method is that it recognizes that the brain of the child is a miracle. When the child is actively engaged and the atmosphere is without fear, the brain becomes a veritable powerhouse. Both text and context are illuminated. This is what school children are discovering to their delight. Earlier, the ABL system for the primary classes had released a crop of motivated children ready for the next stage. In the active search for an innovative method for classes 6, 7 and 8, ALM was identified by the Sarva Siksha Abhiyan.
Children do not learn simply by listening in the classroom. Children will have to read, understand, comprehend, reflect, and above all, will have to interact with fellow students and teachers. ALM offers scope for all these aspects of learning in the classroom. It simply unleashes the learner from the child. It transforms the classroom process and the culture into active learning. I am grateful to the School of Krishnamurti Foundation of India for having developed this methodology and shared this with us.
The initial energy for this innovation came from the school KFI, the Krishnamurti Foundation of India, located in the city of Chennai. The administrative and supervisory cadres of the state in education, especially the block resource trainers, recognized the immense potential of the method. They worked over several months in collaboration with the teachers of the school to develop the nuts and bolts. The same classrooms, the same teachers, and the same textbooks. What then is new in this method, and how is it different? When presented with a new idea of fact, the most important activity starts in the brain of the child. ALM has transformed this principle into a distinct pedagogic structure. Active learning is just that, active learning. Children are involved actively in the process of learning. When ALM is in use, the children work individually and in groups, and the teacher's voice is heard only in the first 10 minutes and the last 5 minutes of the class period.
It was already 6 in the evening.
Every child in the class is asked to read the text silently, underlining the key words and phrases, and identifying those that are not familiar or not known. The student can straight away ask a classmate for the meaning or go to the teacher for it. If the classroom has a dictionary, the student can look up the unfamiliar word. As the children call out the words which appear difficult for them, the teacher writes them on the blackboard. Part of the blackboard thus becomes an impromptu dictionary for that lesson. Individual reading is sometimes followed by paired reading with another class fellow. The reading activity may also be extended to a group of 4. This process of making reading shared and interactive leads slowly but surely to the consolidation of the material that is read. There is no compulsion for all children to read at the same pace. The teacher assumes that there will be variations in the children's style and speed of learning. The most tangible aspect of the new method is the child's drawing a mind map after reading a particular lesson. The mind map is a visual summary and could be considered an alternative to taking notes. It enables the child to make images of the content in black and white or color and offers scope for creativity. Mind mapping helps the students to arrange their understanding of the content into the main theme and sub-themes. The linkages, as the individual child sees them, can, for example, be indicated by using the metaphor of a tree with branches. The mind mapping exercise substantiates the pedagogic principle that student learning depends on what the students do rather than on what the teacher says.
இதான் என்னோட மனவரைபடம். சுதந்திரம் 1947 ஆகஸ்ட் 15 கிடைச்சது. இதை எப்படி வரையலான்னு யோசிச்சேன். கூண்டுல இருந்து கிளி பறக்கிற மாதிரி சுதந்திரமா பறக்கிற மாதிரி வரைஞ்சேன்.
It releases them from the word trap of the curriculum. Children do not need to learn by rote since they understand and interpret the text. They sense the meaning of the adage that one picture is worth 1,000 words. As a tool of learning, the mind map is unique and seems to be the activity enjoyed most by the children. A visit to the school is a rewarding experience where the children are sitting in groups, engaged in reading, making mind maps, discussing their summaries and presenting their conclusions. One sees from their body language that they are totally engaged. Who would not wish for such a classroom? After the mind maps are done, 3 or 4 children in the class are called to come up and show their drawings to the rest of the class. The representations are open for discussion and debate. Children see that the same content can be organized in different ways. They ask questions of each other. The teacher is also expected to have prepared her own mind map of the lesson before coming to school, and she draws it on the blackboard. The children appreciate the complexity of the lesson and the comprehensiveness of the teacher's depiction. Students also make a summary of the lesson individually and share their versions with each other in the small groups. They feel competent to sum up what they have read. The teacher also comes up with her summary and allows the students to compare the different summaries. Questions and answers form a large part of all classroom procedures. But in the conventional school, the teacher asks the questions to find out if the students have learnt the facts, sometimes forcing them to come up with an answer. In the ALM, on the other hand, the students ask the teacher their genuine questions, wanting a word explained or a doubt cleared. Take on a whole different tone from that used by an authoritarian teacher. We now see that when the act of questioning shifts from teacher to student, the quality in the pedagogic transaction is automatically restored. Reading is central to the child's learning. It is supported by reviewing, remembering, reciting, and reflecting, all processes which reinforce the facts. All these procedures assist in comprehension and consolidation of the material that's been presented. These are tried and tested techniques, of course, but allotting time and place for each of them has been invaluable for the process of learning. The model of the lesson plan prepared by the BRTs is precise and enables the teacher to work out her own teaching plans at a later date. A great deal of mix and match is possible. The theme of the lesson in science or social science will determine which technique is to be selected and how the techniques are to be combined. However, within the given structure, the teacher is encouraged to introduce her own variations. There is scope in this method both for the children's imagination and for the creativity of the teacher. Let us listen to children tell us what ALM means to them.
என் பேர் ஏ குந்தவை தேவி. நான் 8th B படிக்கிறேன். முன்னாடிலாம் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸுங்களோட பேசக்கூடாது, நாமளே படித்து மனப்பாடம் செய்யணும்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இப்போலாம் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸோட டிஸ்கஷன் பண்ணி படிக்கிறதுனால எனக்கும் நல்லா புரியுது, என் ஃப்ரெண்டுக்கும் நல்லா புரியுது. இதனால நானும் என் ஃப்ரெண்டும் நல்ல மார்க் எடுக்கிறோம்.
ஆக்டிவ் லேர்னிங் இதெல்லாம் படிச்சிருக்கா? இந்த மெத்தட் பெட்டரா பழைய மெத்தட் பெட்டரா? ஏன்?
போன மெத்தடில் வந்து பின்னாடி இருக்க கொஸ்டினை மட்டும் தான் படித்தோம். இந்த மெத்தடில் நாங்களே படிக்கிறதுனால எல்லா நடுவில் எந்த கொஸ்டின் கேட்டாலும் புரியும். அதுவும் இல்லாமல் படிக்காத பசங்களுக்கு பார்த்து படிக்கிறது நல்லா வருது.
போட்டுருக்கீங்களா? அவங்க பாருங்க. டோட்டல் இருக்கீங்களா? யாராவது ஒருத்தர் வந்து டோட்டல் சொல்றீங்களா? யார் சொல்றீங்க? சரி, நீங்க சொல்லுங்க. நீ சொல்லுங்க.
சூரிய குடும்பம் பால்வழி அண்டத்தின் ஒரு பகுதியில் கோள்கள், துணைக்கோள்கள் மற்றும் பிற வான்கோள்கள் சூரியனை மையமாக கொண்டு சுற்றி வருகின்றன.
ஒரு சில ஸ்கூல்ஸ்ல உங்களுக்கு வேண்டாம், முதல்ல மாதிரி டிசைன் சொல்லுங்க அப்படின்னு கேட்கறாங்க. என்ன பண்ணலாம்? நல்லா படிச்சுங்களா?
Children bubbling with enthusiasm, there's so much of energy, so much of freedom, there's so much of understanding, comprehension going on. All government schools. Up to 8. So we have extended to 9th order this time. And again followed by a government order. Please bear in mind that our government supports us very, very actively.
The Sarva Abhiyan is a all India program, right? Then just as you are the director of the Chennai program, you must be directors. Don't you all have meetings amongst yourselves and share results so that
Yes, we do share. And there has been good response. Many other states are coming and seeing. And some other, Chhattisgarh is going ahead. Karnataka is going ahead. Chhattisgarh is already developing material. Many states are evincing interest.
Almost 20 states have visited Tamil Nadu. In smaller scale or a larger scale, they are going to practice activity-based learning. And also active learning authority is in place in Chhattisgarh. And a few other states are also wanted to do it.
What about exams? Managed to do away with
Which standard?
for any standard?
Up to 5th, we have said no exams. But beyond 5th, 6th, exams are necessary. I can't, this is a system, this is society. Ultimately, I must prepare children for taking exams in public. First, for competition, I need to prepare them. If I say, no exams, that won't gel. Now, I am preparing, this witness. Yeah. Therefore, for 6, 7, 8, I am preparing them well, not by rote learning. I said, you read well, you get by heart if necessary, but understand and do. Don't do it without understanding.
Can I just say one thing? Yes, actually the rights of the child, you actually see it being put into practice here, and I think this is amazing because India is a party to the Convention on the Rights of the Child. I'm from Mumbai, and our municipal corporation schools, there are about 1200 schools, and we have frankly been struggling. I'm part of a committee to set, to look at these schools and to see how education can be improved. And we would love to invite you to Mumbai and meet our education department. Because if this has been done in Chennai and the whole of Tamil Nadu, I'm sure we could, at least in a small way, for later on in whole of Maharashtra, but just to start even with Mumbai.
Three responses. I have a team here, extraordinarily committed team. So whatever you want, wherever you want, has to come. Either me or our people will come. Whatever support you want in terms of material, training, development, we are here. That is number one. Number two, see, we didn't look into child's rights before we done it. We felt we were genuinely concerned the children are not learning. Therefore, we did. And most of the things which I am talking, they're all post-facto analysis and in insight I am doing. We never knew what went, or how it happened. When we tried to recap, how did this take place? In 6 months' time, how can 37,000 schools change? We only felt it is a divine force. There has been some divine force working, there is a big thing.
Excuse me. Children are children. They come from economically backward backgrounds or rich. Is the corporate schools are the children of children of the elite, the schools where they go? Are they showing any interest in this program? Are you trying to
There has been tremendous pressure on us to share this methodology with some of the elite schools in city. I don't want to name them. But I discussed with our teachers and our team. What do we do? Should we share or should not we share? There are two views, two thoughts. One set of teachers say, sir, we should not. Because all along they have been condemning us. They have been blaming their own schools. If they are interested in educating their children, let them put their children in our school. We'll teach them. That is one school of thought. There is another school of thought which says, sir, they are all our children. Children are our children. So let us not stand in the way. Let us share. Now we have decided to share. The team is already getting ready with the concept material. Soon it will be out.
I think your email message, children should not be discriminated at all. So please give it wherever they are.
I'd like to say just a word or two. I mean, when I speak as the president of Montessori International, just to tell you that I've met our friends here last year. I visited some of the ABN schools. I was most impressed, and I'm even more impressed now that it continues to grow. This gentleman has made a miracle. A miracle of getting a child-centered school within the constraints of administration, bureaucracy, budgetary limitations, all the problems that you can have. And it works. And it also demonstrates the very basic principle that we in Montessori are preaching. It is the child that is the main actor of his education. The insistence on freedom. I'm also a child right activist, you know, I was with UNICEF many years. This is how we can build the concept of it. So what is happening here, believe me, is history. It is truly history. And it will be known. We will do our little share. I know my friend there will do his share, will talk to you, to make sure that this is known around the world. You will pay the price because a lot of people are going to call on you. So you're going to be very busy forever. But no, truly, I wanted to express my support, my admiration for what has been achieved here. It is truly exceptional.